Hi fellow book lovers and welcome back to my channel. You might notice I am in a slightly different location today, and that is simply because I go where the light goes. I thought because it is the end of the month, I'm going to run through my book haul for this month. It'll include everything from publisher's mail to book subscription boxes and more. And I'm so excited to share these books with you because not only am I dying to read them, but I'm dying for you to read them, or if you have read them, for us to have a conversation about them because they all sound brilliant. So without further ado, grab your drink of choice. Mine is a simple cup of tea this morning. Let's get into it. So I thought our running order for this video would be publisher's mail first, book subscription boxes, pre-orders that came in this month, a book from a book event I went to, which I'll talk a little bit about, a book that was gifted to me, and then 2 books I purchased in the Prime Day deals. And then I have a box of books, which I'll explain when I get there. Okay, so publisher's mail. The first I absolutely cannot believe I even have a copy of. I do not know what I did to deserve this. It is The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab, and it is the black copy. If you're familiar with this, there are 4 arcs going around. There's black, red, grey, and white. I wanted the black because it looks super cool. I mean, look at it. But I would have been happy with any color, obviously. This one, if you remember from my introduction video, which I'll link above if you do want to go back and watch that, this was one of my most anticipated reads for the second half of 2023. This follows on in the Shades of Magic series by V. Schwab. The events of A Conjuring of Light, the 3rd book in the series, left us with plenty of questions. So I'm so excited to dig back into this. This, I believe, is set 7 years after the events of Conjuring of Light. So we still have our main cast. We have Cal Lila, Rymaresh, who is the king of Red London. We have Alucard Emery, our privateer. So we still have our core cast, but we also get introduced to a few new characters. And from what I've heard, this character can do some pretty cool stuff. So I'm very excited. If you're not familiar with the series, this has a brilliant magic system in it. We basically have the ability to manipulate certain elements depending on your skill and like your affinity with magic. Like you can either work, say, water or bone, or well, bone is forbidden, but you can work water or fire or earth or whatever. So you have, say, control of 1 element. If you're a little bit more skilled, 2 elements, 3 elements. But if you're on Tari, like Kalmaresh is, you can do anything and you have blood magic, so you're pretty powerful. Now, what I like about this series as well is alternate worlds. I am a sucker for alternate worlds, and we have these overlapping Londons. Now, I don't want to talk about it too much if you haven't read the series, but basically Black London was sort of like cannibalizing magic, and that darkness was sort of seeping into the other Londons. So they were like, no, 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 we can't have this. We're sealing the gateway or doorway to Black London. And that had like kind of a devastating effect as it sort of trickled down. So the next London, I believe, was White London, so they were sort of stripped of magic too. Then it went to Grey London, who has like very limited use of magic, and then Red London is still pretty much thriving with magic. These books are so good because not only is the magic system incredible, but our cast of characters I absolutely adore. Lila Ward is one of my favorite. Kalmaresh is a huge fictional crush for me. I love his character so much. So I'm so excited to go back into this world. If you haven't read Shades of Magic, this is out late September, so you have time. There's also some catch-up videos on V. Schwab's YouTube channel that kind of takes you through the series. So if you have read them and you just want to have a refresher before you read this one, then that is pretty good to like jog your memory. The second thing that was sent to me by Black Crow PR is Spirits Abroad by Zen Cho, and this sounds absolutely beautiful. I read the little summary for this and fell in love. It is a short story collection, which I've really been getting into. I quite like the idea of like jumping from world to world, And especially in something like this where it is tied together by a theme, I really enjoy that. So this one is heavily inspired by Asian myth and folklore. And I'll just read to you a little snippet because it sounds really good. So it says, drawing inspiration from Asian myth and folklore, Zencho guides the reader through enchanted realms inhabited by dragons, vampires, and incorrigible grandmothers, which is brilliant. These 19 sparkling stories are full of joy, humour, and tenderness. Out on the 17th of August, so that's coming up pretty soon. So I am hoping to read through this, or at least read through a little bit of this before publication day, but we will just see how it goes. But yeah, this sounds absolutely beautiful. And look at the cover as well. I absolutely love it. Oh, this one also had quite beautiful end papers. That concludes it for my publisher's mail of this month. Thank you to Titan, Pan Macmillan Black Copia. Thank you so much for sending both of those to me. I never in my entire life thought that I would be sent books. Anyway, let's get on to book subscription boxes. So you probably don't know this about me, except if you follow me here from TikTok, but I used to be subscribed to everything, and it kind of drove me a little bit insane. I used to have Illumicrate, Fairy Loot, Goldsboro, and then Lock Library, which is the Harper subscription box, and I cancelled them all. I kept one because I like the idea of like a surprise every month. That makes me really happy. So I kept Lock Library, and this is actually the first month they've sent me something that I had no clue what it's about. It is And Break the Pretty Kings by Lena Jung, I want to say. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So we basically follow our main character, and it just seems from the synopsis that like there's a lot going on and a lot going wrong for this character. But we have a sick mother. She is meant to take the throne and something goes wrong. A sweeping illness is causing Magic to misbehave, and then her brother is kidnapped. There is a lot of action, and it seems like very high stakes. This sounds really interesting, and I will quickly show you how beautiful this book is as well. The sprayed edges I love. There is mention of a dragon too, by the way, or dragons. So on the back we have never forget the dragons in your blood. So dragons already is sending up some like joyful alarm bells. I'll quickly show you under the first jacket because I don't want to spend too much time unboxing this as it were. That is super stunning. I love the gold foiled dragon. And as usual, the spines on all of these Lock Library books match, which I really enjoy. And papers are also just absolutely gorgeous. And then they all come with a little ribbon bookmark, which is a tiny detail, but I love it so much because I think it just, I don't know, it sort of enhances my reading experience when I don't need to think about losing my bookmark, which I tend to do, and then I just end up with like a receipt. So the fact that there is a built-in bookmark for me to use is brilliant. The one thing I will say that I'll critique slightly, just because I am such a snob, is I don't quite know why when the book is so red, they went with like a blue colorway on the dust jacket. Like I almost would have preferred if this was also a little bit more red and gold. I know there's red and gold in it, but like, I don't know. From like my color perspective, I think it would have just made more sense. Anyway, let's move on to pre-orders. I got 2 books in this month. Super excited for both. The first one I got was Inkblood Sister Scribe by Emma Tors. This one I really like the sound of because there is a sort of dark academia feel. Now we have these 2 sisters, and there is a book of magic that they need to protect from the sounds of it. So it says 2 sisters tasked with guarding a library of magical but deadly books, a shadow organization that will risk anything to possess them, even murder. So, you know. And this one is Blurred by Alex E. Harrow, who is one of my all-time favorite authors, who said this book is so many things at once: an adventure, a puzzle, a twisty thriller, and a tender romance. I adored it. So if Alex adored it, I'm gonna adore it. But I'll quickly show you the little edges. The yellow is absolutely gorgeous. The bee is so cute. I love that detailing. Also has like cool marble and papers. There isn't much going on the naked hardback, but I don't mind that. I've heard some rave reviews for this already, so I'm excited to read it. The second pre-order that came in is Girl Goddess Queen by V. Fitzgerald. This book is a Hades and Persephone story. Hades and Persephone stories intrigue me a lot, but everything I've read so far has either been like super spicy and smutty, which is fine. Like, I don't mind spicier books, but like, I want more of a story, and I think this book is going to deliver. This is more of a rom-com seen through more of a feminist lens, so I think all the things that weren't quite ticking the box for me on those other retellings, this one might do. This is also an absolutely gorgeous edition, so I will quickly show you. The sprayed edge is so cool. I love the word, like actual phrase on the front, and under the dust jacket is absolutely beautiful. We basically have a little bit of a map. We have the underworld there, and then we have Olympus on that side, which is just stunning. And then we also have these beautiful little end papers, and we have some illustrations even in here, which I'm not going to go through now. But basically, this sounds incredible. Like I said, Hades, Persephone stories, I absolutely love. Hecate is maybe one of my favorite goddesses. So anytime I have a story, a Hades and Persephone story, and I know that she'll make an appearance, I am just filled with joy. So moving on to books I quite at book events. So I only went to one last month, and that was Naomi Novik, and she was absolutely brilliant. This is the third installment of the Scholomance, is the Golden Enclaves. I've read book 1 and 2, and I cannot wait to jump back into book 3 because book 2 left us with a massive cliffhanger. So I'm very excited to head back into this school. If you're not familiar with the series, this follows a sort of deadly magical school. So think Harry Potter, but made horrendously violent and quite terrifying. So we have these Ficaria who kind of lurk in this school. And as I said, it is this magical boarding school, so the students literally cannot leave for the entirety of their education. We basically have Galadriel, who comes in off the back of this prophecy that she will be a monster. She has a devastating amount of magic, but if she tapped into that magic in the wrong way and in a sort of dark and dangerous way, it will completely consume her and she will be villainous. So we have Gal kind of trying to deal with this school that is constantly trying to kill her, whilst also kind of getting a handle on her magic. And I just think it is so clever. It's first person, so it's seen completely from Gal's perspective. I know a lot of people have an issue almost with how like info dumpy it is, but I actually really like Gal's perspective, and I think yes, it will come across info dumpy because you are literally in this person's head, so everything they're saying you're saying. But I also think she had such a great voice because you have to remember that she is in this insane situation and she's really funny and witty about it, and I think it's like probably a defense mechanism and probably a way for her to cope, but I just found it hilarious. Naomi was also so generous with her time at this event. She spoke in great detail about her inspiration for this book, the sort of things she was drawing on, and even afterwards when she was signing her book, she was happy to talk. She gave some great writing advice, which I really appreciated. I also got like a really cool little freshman handbook, and it basically has like schedules and kind of breakdowns of all the different mouths in the school. So yeah, really cool, and this was such a great event, so I can't wait to read this. Next was a bit of book mail I got. This was from one of my friends, Ram, who I met on TikTok when pretty much this is gonna okay, story time. So I met a few people on TikTok, and Ram was one of them, and we pretty much planned a weekend away where seven of us, seven random strangers from the internet, went to stay in a house together in Birmingham. And like every single person I told about this was just like, stranger danger. This is not a good idea. You should not ever meet people on the internet. Now, I will say we had been in a group chat for a while and we did get to know each other. I think we were probably in there for about 2 or 3 months, and we obviously knew each other from seeing each other on TikTok. So we went for a weekend away and we are planning another getaway this October. So all went well. Everyone survived. But anyway, so Ram came to see me a few weeks ago here in Liverpool, and we went to so many great bookstores, but we didn't buy anything. And as a reward for being really good, Ram sent me something off my wish list, which is Grief is the Thing with Feathers by Max Porter. This is a really short little book, and the font is quite chunky, so I don't think it's going to take me very long. I think it's something I can breeze through in a day. I absolutely adore books with themes of grief. I just kind of find it cathartic to read. It sounded really good. This was my one bit of book mail for the month. Now, Prime Day deals, I feel, a significant enough TBR that I don't need to add to that TBR. But when a good deal comes around, you kind of just need to take it. I was scouring my wish list and found 2 books on there that had like a significant enough discount that I felt like I had to get them. The first is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This, I believe, is YA, but it sounds incredible. I am absolutely in love with The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, and I kind of felt like this might give me a similar experience because we follow this boy whose mother is ill, and he sort of has this recurring dream, wakes up and obviously realizes it's just a dream until one night he wakes up and it isn't just a dream. There is an actual force in his room. It wants the most dangerous thing of all from Connor. It wants the truth. So I'm very much intrigued by this. And a few people have actually commented and said they think I will absolutely adore this. So let's see. The second thing I bought was The Immortal Games by Annalise Avery. As I mentioned many times now, I am a lover of Greek myth and Greek retellings. Now, this one isn't as much a retelling, it's more just taking inspiration from Greek myth. But I love Law by Alexandra Bracken. And this kind of reminds me of that. I think it will be quite a similar vibe. I think it even has the comparison of Law meets Hunger Games. When the gods host these games, they select random humans as tokens, which, I mean, given everything we know about Greek myth and Greek gods, fits right into their agenda, doesn't it? They just sort of use humans in whichever way they see fit, and they never really think of what they are inflicting upon these humans. So we have Ara, who hopes to be a token because she wants to basically get vengeance on the gods. And she is selected. So this should be good for Ara, but also this kind of odds of surviving this isn't very high. I immediately want to know why she wants revenge. What did they do against her? How will she survive? What do these games look like? So just poses a lot of questions to me already, and I'm very excited to dig into it. Now, I did mention a mysterious box of books that I received. I will talk about that a little bit now. So, as you know, or might not know if you're new to my channel, but I also am a hobbyist bookbinder. So, I rebind paperbacks to hardbacks. This is a very new hobby. I've rebound about 8 books now, and I don't get a lot of good books in my charity bookshop. I've kind of scoured most of them and I never quite find anything that I'm excited to rebind. A friend of mine does have brilliant charity shop options, and she also always finds the best books. So I kind of recruited her a little bit to find me a few of these books, but the rest she just kind of found by herself and very kindly sent these to me. So the first thing I was sort of looking for was a copy of Good Omens, because that I want to rebind for a friend. I was also looking for pretty much any Terry Pratchett book also to rebind for a friend. So she found Equal Rights by Terry Pratchett, and then she also found this copy of Good Omens in really beautiful condition. So these will be so good to rebind. She also then found me The Martian by Andy Weir, which is one of my favorite ever sci-fi books. This book is so beautiful. I always think of this book, like, even though it is high stakes, I think of it as like a hopeful book. You wouldn't necessarily think that when I tell you it is a man stranded on Mars with no hope of survival. But I do think this is a book about hope and a book about like humanity's kindness. Everyone just comes together to help one man who could easily be abandoned. I just love this book so much. The next is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. And I already know that if I rebind this really well, this will sell because people love it and I love it, and I want to do a really good job with this. So she did message me about these two, but then she gave me some bonus copies. First is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet, but I have plans, a million different plans. She got me The Savage Song by V. Schwab because I think she knows how much I love Schwab and she loves Schwab. We just all love Schwab very much. Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I really loved Kingdom of the Wicked. I didn't so much love Kingdom of the Cursed. It was okay. I haven't even read Kingdom of the Feared, but I have not read great things, so I am a bit nervous. Finally, The Blade itself by Joe Abercrombie, which I haven't read, but I'm excited to bind. I think I can do pretty cool things with it. Very, very big thank you to Becky. Shout out Becky, because she did not need to get me all of these books and she very kindly did. And I really appreciate it because I cannot wait to rebind these. They're going to look incredible. That concludes the books I acquired this month. Next thing that I'm putting out is my June wrap up. So I will be going through reviews for the books I read in June and also showing you my August TBR, because that's all planned out because I am very particular. I want to know from you, what have you bought this month? If you have enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. If you want to follow me on any socials, I'm dropping all the links in the comments. They're also in the header section of my profile. Also links to my Amazon wishlist. If you do feel like ever getting me anything, I'd appreciate it. There's a coffee link if you want to buy me a coffee. That would be great. And then also my Etsy store, and yeah, everything is basically in the comments. But I appreciate you. Thank you for sticking this out with me. Thank you for listening to me talk about books. And I hope to see you back here next time. Have a good day.